Hello, my name is Arlo Pratt. I am an addict in recovery, a transgender son of two proud New York State educator parents, and an honors student at one of the best SUNY schools that New York has to offer, SUNY New Paltz. Today, with its plethora of art museums, the Museum of Modern Art, the Whitney, the Guggenheim, to name a few, New York City is considered the center of the art world. The image showing skyscrapers is an original photograph that I was able to capture just outside of the Museum of Modern Art, otherwise known as the MoMA. In light of New York City being the art capital of the world, it is inquiring that the New York State Board of Regents only requires students to take one art class in order to graduate. Ceramics courses allow students to develop tactile intelligence by way of age-old processes, making connections with palms and fingers, which are quite literally going to build our future. My experience and the experience of expert ceramic artists whom I've had the fortune of crossing paths with lead me to believe that having more ceramic courses available would improve the well-being of students across New York State. Professor Chabez, who teaches ceramics at SUNY New Paltz, told me, "To this day I am reminded each time I sit at the wheel of the balance between symmetry and form, movement and steadiness, and especially breath, all things related to how the body moves slowly and steadily, and form is the result of this." Clay is created by Mother Earth's natural processes. Rivers and streams, running water, change direction by means of topography. Over time, large particles, such as stones and sand, are filtered out. Interestingly, flora, fauna, and minerals, which are the three components that create soil, create the silt that settles into clay beds upon being pulverized by a literal stream of life, or life stream. The clay that is sold commercially must then have been harvested from a clay bed where a river once flew. The segment from Chabez's quote in which he mentions breath I have learned by doing, as breathing is so well known it is almost always forgotten. In an interview with Professor Lily Zuckerman, another professor at SUNY New Paltz, I asked her the following question: "What is your relationship to wheel throwing and/or clay gifted you regarding your selfhood?" In response, she spoke about her childhood. She grew up on a farm in southwestern Pennsylvania along the Rust Belt. The Rust Belt was coined a term in the early 1950s to describe parts of the northeastern and midwestern United States that are characterized by declining industry, aging factories, and a falling population. Lily reminisces about a time when she and her mother, an amateur geologist, would go over to the shale deposit in their backyard. She states that one of her favorite awe-inspiring activities was to take a chunk of flaky shale, which is compressed clay and where many fossils are found, and split the fragile rock with her hands, much like opening the segments of an orange. If Professor Zuckerman did not happen to have been of born from the womb of a person who was living along the Rust Belt in Pennsylvania, perhaps she would not have been exposed to clay. More than likely, in fact, she would not have a core memory of seeing the fruit of life through her experience with the material. Happenstance, a circumstance especially that is due to chance, is not what we should leave exposure to clay up to for the high school students in New York. Professor Csikszentmihalyi coined the term flow in 1990 in his book Flow: The Psychology of Optimal Experience. He talks about finding a way to achieve a state of peak mental performance and happiness. The following graph demonstrates a reason as to why having ceramic courses in high school would be beneficial to students and society altogether. Professor Csikszentmihalyi demonstrates through a plethora of interviews in his book Flow that happiness and the ideal can be achieved through tactile interaction. The following 3 points attest to this. 1. The creative process is recursive, not linear. 2. Mental meandering is essential to the process. 3. Stay curious, try new things, and make time for reflection and relaxation. In 2021, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention stated that more than 20% of students seriously considered attempting suicide and 10% had attempted. Additionally, my experience in Narcotics Anonymous, Heroin Anonymous, and long-term addiction rehabilitation facilities attests to the idea that tactile art forms are fundamental for proving the experience of living as well. Many times I have had a conversation amongst fellows about the stereotype of the quote-unquote artist, someone who does copious amounts of drugs to create the image of masterworks of genius. It does not stand true to reality. My statement of purpose is the following. Vulnerability. I needed to stay clean. The years I spent wandering roads and alleyways alone. 3 countries, 26 states, I was on my own. A life calculated in milligrams. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, time to check my pulse. I got sober by no fault of my own. My relationship to the art world parallels the relationship I have with the real world. It is much like a dance, always in motion. I do it for the sake of itself. No matter the medium, it's a reminder that I'm still here. I have overdosed with the music inside me, and since then, my favorite color is all of the in-between. In the basement of a church in Bayport, Long Island, a dear friend at Heroin Anonymous once said, "Nothing in this life is black and white." I couldn't have agreed more. Having spoken to my father on this topic, who has a doctorate in educational leadership, I came to learn that the resources afforded to wealthy school districts in New York State allow them to fund special programs in the arts, science research, and other curricula they find valuable, while districts without such financial resources are forced to limit their spending to meet state curriculum mandates, preventing them from investing in these valuable programs. My mother, pictured on the right-hand side, who is an elementary school principal in a predominantly white upper-middle-class school district on Long Island, notes that the children in my school have access to the arts beginning in kindergarten. Second graders at my school just finished a project with clay-created owls. The owls were glazed and fired in the kiln in our art room. We are also fortunate to have funding for clubs, and our 5th graders attend art club after school every Tuesday afternoon. I would like to end with a piece of information that has come across as a theory known by ceramic artists whom I've happened upon recently, which is the clay theory. It is based on the fact that growing crystals are able to pass on traits to new crystal generations, and that clay crystals may have acted as precursors to genetic material. Therefore, it is possible that the catalyst of evolution that has resulted in you and I being alive today is clay. Regardless of any presumed challenges, I say with confidence it is worth it to have ceramic courses in schools across New York State. Have a great day. Bye.